Jetta Bates, and I'm really happy to be here with you all, and of course, Six Brown Chicks. And it's so funny because they just like me. I'm trying to put my phone down. I can't be up here like, oh yeah, wait a minute, girl. Let me ask you this question. So for those of you all that do not know me, I also kind of have a dual existence. I am a corporate strategist on the communication side, specifically integrated marketing. Work a lot with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, as well as small businesses, and I focus a lot on lifestyle. And because my background has focused a lot on lifestyle, I also serve as a lifestyle expert for NBC, as well as I have a weekly show every Thursday on iHeartRadio/WVON. I cover all that is hot and sexy and fun and dining and fashion and style and la la la. And I also am a guest contributor to Essence and Ebony, and I cover travel as well as style. So I'm just happy to be here to talk about corporate America and leadership and entrepreneurism. So the first question, we're going to talk about, what are some of the challenges that women face who seek to be business owners, CEOs, or even climb the corporate ladder if that's, the direction that you want to go in?
I know some of the challenges that I face is knowing your audience. And what I mean by that is a lot of us go into entrepreneurship and businesses thinking that our friends are going to support us. Big mistake. They're not. They'll support you from wherever they can, but I think a lot of us go into it thinking that we're going to be successful because our friends believe in supporting us, and that's just not something we want to do. As an entrepreneur, that's a mistake that I can tell from the inside.
So let me ask you a little bit about that. Does that mean that you have different levels of friends? So as you move and grow in the corporate space, does that mean that you have I got a chance to hang out with Vivica Fox. It was something that I was as a project that was doing for Coke. And one of the things that I saw was that she had her homies from back in the day running some of her stuff, which is great. I don't know if it was the smartest thing. I don't know, not here to judge, but do you have different levels of people that you have in your life, your corporate friends and then your homies from back in the day?
I absolutely do, because I have a corporate, very, very corporate day job. So I have varying sets of friends, right? I have the media friends, so I'm with you guys today. I have the corporate friends, and we talk about different things. And so, everyone's not the best at everything. And all of your friends aren't going to be good for every audience, right? Like my corporate friends really have very limited interest in seeing me on panel. They really don't care. But, are my media friends going to be excited about, I'm going to assume, talking about business? Probably not. So you've got to tailor your audience for what it is that you're doing, and it makes you more successful in both arenas.
I would suggest getting out of the mirror. A lot of times we flock to things and interests that are like our own. And you'll know that you're in the mirror too much if you go to an event and it's the same 12 people who show up, the same 12 people. That's not an event, that's a reunion. You need to get out of the mirror, you need to spread yourself around, and what has always helped me personally is knowing stuff I'm not supposed to know, okay? So I read New York Magazine. I don't live in New York, I'm not moving to New York, but if there's an art gallery or anything happening, I know these New York people. I know society. So go where you're not expected, meet people you wouldn't normally talk to, and you will be amazed. My friend, Matt Zapala, he's very wealthy. He says, hang around people who earn and do what you aspire to do. So if you broke, and your girls broke, y'all all just broke. You're in the wrong crowd, and these people are open and receptive. They're receptive. Follow them on social media. Yanni is excellent at Twitter. She has celebrities tweeting her directly. Kim Poles, Tracy Edmonds, because she is interested in what they're interested in. And so Twitter is the great equalizer. Meet somebody new, follow that person, and expand your own horizons.
So one of the things that was shared, and I got a chance to take a look at it, is a Harvard Business Review article on 6 paradoxes women leaders face in 2013. So I think that we're going to be seeing some of the paradoxes up here. However, I want to kind of go into the networking paradox because of something you said, Zondra. Women are consummate relationship builders, yet we don't use our contacts to get ourselves promoted. Now, let's talk about why that is and why is like being so important. Why is that so important to us? So, for example, you may have your friends from back in the day, and as you are building up your relationships with those people that you don't know, some of your other homies look up, see, she's just special. She don't love us anymore. She's bushy. So, right, okay. So now how do you deal with that? And why is like being so incredibly important?
I'm working on building my own company right now, Always Honors. And starting off, I never wanted to be Anna Winter, right? I never wanted to be that angry, icy person who acts that way. And when you talk about dealing with friends, to them you're a friend. You're not a business, contact, you're a friend. And so when it comes to doing someone else's project versus doing yours, even if you're paying, you may not get what you want on time. And you want to be sweet, you want to be polite, like, hey girl, can you just get this done? But I see now that I've started, how you can easily turn into the ice cream like, yo, I called you 5 days ago, I paid my money, why is this gone? Oh girl, I'm just running behind you. And your other clients understand when you're running behind? Oh no, but where's my stuff? And I think that as a woman, you don't want to be that. You're conditioned and trained not to be that. And sometimes it's almost, particularly when dealing with your homegirls or your male friends, you can morph into that, trying to get things done and being taken seriously. I don't know if any of the other business owners have had that issue, but that's definitely one that I'm like, yo, let's get it.
I don't really care for working with my friends because familiarity breeds contempt. Like they think that it's cool, she's my girl. No, it really isn't cool. Like I'm running a company right now and I've got all guys and that male energy is a little something different, but they all think that I'm like the dragon lady because I hold them to deadlines. And they try to get familiar with me. And I don't get familiar with them. Like, I don't need to drink with you. What you need to do is meet your deadline. Like, and it's, I think you're cool, but you don't need to be like on that level where now we're buddies. So she's not mine. Well, no, I'm mine. And I can think you're cool, but we need to keep the business structure. So working with my friends is one not to.
Okay, so let's talk about that because one of the things that, now we all know about the golf outings, right? Okay, that's what men do, right? They get together, they drink, they play softball, they golf, and that's how business deals are done. So when I hear that, okay, now you over there, you need to make that deadline, I'm not trying to be your friend, then how do you bridge that gap?
Well, there are ways to kind of do the whole golf outing thing, but still not. I mean, you can have your work persona social life, but that's not really a real social life, right? Like, you still don't want to be, it's still not a great idea to be out, like, buck wild and drunk. And men can do this together for some reason, but the minute a woman enters the arena and starts pulling that too, she gets looked at very differently. When women get drunk around men start to think of them more sexually, and it just is what it is, unfortunately. And, I just really like to always keep my composure, even though I'll do a shot. I can probably drink everybody at the table. But
I don't know,
we can do that later if you like.
I know, right? We'll see.
I'm a musician too. I have a whole leg. But really though, but I never let myself get compromised because they still really don't know me completely. You know what I mean? They don't know our right sex color. So it's familiar.
Getting into relationships. Now, what about, when you have either clients and or a direct report who wants to pull you into their lives, talk to you about their men or lack of, their kids or, all of that good stuff. And you may not want them that close. So how do you manage that?
I have separate friends. Always have, always will. I have friends that know me as Yanni. I got friends that know me as Yolanda, and I got friends that know me as Red. I keep them separate for a reason. I don't don't want it oozing into my personal life. You don't need to know that I'm falling apart if you're just a casual acquaintance or a business manager or a business partner. So in that regard, I have my separate friends who never intermingle with my other friends because I don't want to deal with that drama of them getting on or not getting on. That's not what I'm in the friendship for. And I think a lot of times it's what do you want out of your ships? You know, be it a relationship, a friendship, a partnership, a workship, whatever ship you're in. And whatever you're trying to get, or shit, because sometimes it's that too. It depends on what you want to get out of that thing that you're in and how you move over and mix business with pleasure and people. And I just try not to do that because it can get tricky.
I just left maybe 3 weeks ago a very corporate job. I kind of disagree with Yanni respectfully to a degree because I'm that person, like I don't have separate friends. I have separate personalities. Like my friends know when I'm in work mode, or if I'm in class, or if I'm teaching class, whatever I'm doing, I'm in that mode. So I don't necessarily have separate friends. And I kind of want to tie this into what Jetta asked earlier about women and us maybe not necessarily being able to climb the corporate ladder, succeed or anything like that. I think we need to understand as women, business is not personal. You can't take it personal. Even if you're doing business with your friends, that's your business partner right then. I have very good friends that I do business with, but we're not friends when we're sitting in a meeting talking about business. I'm unconcerned with how your feelings are in this meeting. I'm concerned about our business and our bottom line. I'm a very blunt person. Anybody who knows me and has spent maybe 5 minutes with me knows that if it hurts your feelings and it's the truth, I'm probably going to tell it to you. Like I'm less concerned about hurting feelings and more concerned about the truth and us growing, whether it's a relationship or a business partnership. So I think the biggest thing as women that we got to get out of our head is it's not personal. Like stop taking business personal, whether it's with your friend, whether it's in corporate America, and know yourself. I got out of corporate America because I realized I was taking it personal. I'm me. This is who I am. I don't want to put on a dress clothes and, you know, do the, hi, good morning, how was your weekend? I couldn't care less about your weekend. We're not friends. We work together. That is like the alpha and omega of our relationship. So I say all that to say, at the end of the day, as women building these relationships, whether you choose to do what Yanni says and have separate friendships, or if you're like me, like all my friends, everybody come over, that's cool. You know, just know the modes that you need to be in, and you can't be personal when business is involved, even if it's your friend. So
Separate what you do from who you are. When you're at work, that is not your job. That is the company's job. That's not your computer. That's the company's computer. That's not your friend. That's the company's worker who's sitting next to you. When you engage and intermingle everything you are in a job, if you lose that job, you won't have shit. You won't even have your name. You won't even have that air about you because the title has been taken away. You are who you are, not what you do for a paycheck. You are who you are, not what you do for a paycheck. So these people are having conversations, and people have conversations for all kinds of reasons. They have conversations because they're doing surveillance. And you won't know it until you're in the HR office and they're talking about, oh yeah, hi, you're fired.
Or the people come and get you.
So always, I know you're with these people 8 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours a day. Always know you don't know who you're talking to. You just don't. I don't care if you watch each other's kids and hang out, blah, blah. That's too much. Because if that job is taken away, you're -0.
So let's talk a little bit about the double blind paradox. It was mentioned that when it's business, which I'm a firm believer in. I actually have people in my life that I consider friends that I've done business with, and trust me, the switch goes off and on. I'll key, ha, ha, he. After that client, it's key, ha, ha, he, and they're happy. Until then, it's about money, it's about business, it's about making sure the client is fulfilled. So there are expectations from women, right? to project this gravitas in order for people to like them, for them to advance. However, you have to have that feminine mystique. So for those people who are aggressive, you may be ostracized or labeled that word that we were talking about earlier, right? But if you're too soft, you will never see the corporate office. The corporate, like, get an office in the corner, right? So how do you marry those two? Having your femininity, being liked, but then making sure that people know that you're not playing with them.
Since graduating, I have found it's been the battle of my life to be taken seriously in my job. And I mean, I have changed my attire, I've changed my haircut, I've changed my hair color, and yet I was always coming off as someone who, in my mind, could not be taken seriously because I couldn't find that balance. And I felt like in the job that I had, I was just doing okay because I was struggling to find that balance. And of course, I had an employee, a male employee, who made it his sort of business to give me the blues. But one day, I was like, yo, I'm sick of trying to prove I'm a good person. My goal now is to prove that I'm a good employee. And they'll take you seriously when you start flipping $1 into 2, and 2 into 3, and 3 into 4. When I went into my job and said, my goal is not to get along with you, it's not to be nice to you, I'm tired of sitting in the office trying to work through things with the manager with you, it's to sit over here and kick some butt. When I started doing that, that is when things changed. That is when, people were taking me seriously. That is when you have the executive director coming into your office trying to congratulate you, talking about the great job you've done. That's when you have other people clapping back at people who are coming to you because you're the golden
Yes, the high performer can become the target for someone who doesn't know your job. And you think, I'm just coming to work to do what I'm paid to do. And there are people who don't like you because of the potential that you have. Because of the potential that you have, they don't like you. So you have to really just arm yourself with the knowledge of, you know what, here's the book. He did not pay for this, but I have to tell you because it's been my book. 48 Laws of Power. From the first chapter, which says protect your brand at all costs, to the next chapter that says never outshine the master, to the other chapters that tell you how to get people to be your ally by making them think it's something in it for them. You do this with your enemies. Make them your allies by making them think it's something in it for them. We shouldn't fight on the job because you won't get that promotion that we both want. I know you're the stronger person, so I want you to have it because I believe you'll steer this team correctly. They're going to work their ass off for you. And then you get the promotion. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Mm-hmm. It's a mind game. And sometimes people come to work and they wear suits and ties and they look just like you and me, and they're complete psychopaths. Because when you look at what the definition of a psychopath is and you look at it against high performers, it's almost the same. No affect, no emotion, no loyalty, liars, manipulators, abusers. Those are the bosses.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Those are the managers.
Oh Lord, somebody has got the spirit. Somebody's got the spirit. Somebody fan her.
Whatever book that you have that features spirituality, read that book and stay prayed up, but also 48 Laws of Power. It's online, it's free in some places. It's an audio book, but listen to it so you'll know the games that are being ran on you. Okay.
And look, and one thing I have to tell you, just from my own personal experience, money up. Because when it's time to go, you can just walk away and it's okay. But when you are financially tied to an organization, that's how you stay and end up abused. Money up.
You got to choose your career wisely, and that's, something people don't think about. It's like, when you think about choosing a career, think about what kind of environment you would like to be immersed in on a daily basis. Like personally, I have fortunately never been in a career where in order for me to succeed, someone else must fail. Yeah. There are a lot of work environments. I tend to work in professional services. We can all succeed if we all do our work, if we all stay heads down in professional services. But there are some, like the work environment that Zondra was just talking about, It's one of those where I'm either getting this promotion or you're getting this promotion. So in order for me to succeed, you pretty much gotta fail. And those are not comfortable environments for me. And if you feel that's not a comfortable environment for you, you might want to rethink that career choice.
Women cannot be afraid to unlock their potential. Because I think that you can only live off of potential for so long. At some point, though, you just have to unleash that thing and make it do what it do. And, when you're doing that, we're like, okay, God, I hear you. You put me here to do this. I can hit the ground running and go. If they escort me out the door Monday, it's like you said, I'll go someplace else and make more, and God bless you as you go. And I think that is what more of us have to get to, that when we're there, we're unstoppable. But we cannot be afraid to go there and just unleash.
How do you do all of the things that you need to do and still be taken seriously in business, in case you are mothers or caregivers, and or the community, in case you happen to love your job but maybe something is suffering at home? How do you balance the two? And as a follow-up, and I'm going to ask this of all the women, if you were married or otherwise engaged and had a child, would you step away from corporate for a couple of years to raise a child, or would you continue to work? Which would you prefer?
Well, I've been juggling it for the last 22 years. I have 2 children. I've had my side business for 20 plus years, and I've had a full-time job. I drink lots of coffee, and I just go. I find the balance by taking time and making time for me. Whether it's a half-hour bubble bath or a 2-hour massage spa treatment, it's important and critical as women who juggle, because that's what we do, we juggle as women, to find the balance and find what you like to do, because before long you'll be married, you'll have kids, you'll have a career, and you don't know who the hell you are anymore. So we fall into that taking care of everybody else so easily because we're nurturers that we forget about us, and then 10 years into the marriage and the kids, you like, what the hell? I'm like, nobody in this room, I'm up. And then you find yourself left trying to figure out who you are all over again. Before it gets to that point, make the time, take the time to appreciate self first, and it helps you deal with all the other crap that we have to deal with throughout the course of the lifespan or whatever.
The balancing is interesting for me because I've always liked to have one foot in corporate and one foot in creative. So the corporate is kind of fun to me in a weird way. I always make sure I'm having a great time. And all work is not fun, of course, because that's what's called work. But the corporate work especially is less fun, but I make sure that I choose something that's fun. Now for my side things, and like with writing and this other company I'm doing, that needs to be kind of nurturing to other portions of my personality in order for me not to feel completely overworked and ready to kill somebody. Because if you take yourself in too many directions and you look up and you realize like, wow, I haven't had my nails done in a week. I mean, that's like, what? Like, how? But you have to make sure that everything you're doing nurtures a part of your personality. You can't just be done for the sake of doing.
I had my daughter when I was 17, and I had my son when I was 21, so I didn't have an option to stay at home. So I had to work, and so I had to find some sort of balance. And I know, like the lady said, you have to take time for yourself, but at the same time, you have to, for me, I wanted a career. I wanted to build my career, so I was working, I was going to school. I was trying to find time for the kids. I was trying to find time for my husband. I mean, and I really had, it was hard. It was a struggle to really try to balance everything out, but we have to find that time. And one of the other points that I wanted to make is that as women, I was in the IT department. And so I'm a computer geek, and so I ran the IT department for 10 years for a consulting firm, and what was very difficult was, because I worked around a lot of men, and it was difficult, when my kids were sick, and I had to take time off, and I don't know how many of you are parents, but it's really difficult to find that balance when you're trying to build your career, and you have people that are like, well, she's a mom, and she's not going to be able to work, or she's not going to be able to be promoted because she has those kids, or her kids are always sick. And so those are things that we have to deal with oftentimes as women, but we have to be able to balance the time out, and we can't lose who we are as women. And once we determine that we want to go after something like that, we have to talk to our families. And that was one of the things. I had to talk to my husband, and my kids were younger, and I was like, Mommy wants to spend time with you, but I know you want something great, so I have to buy these things for you as well. But I have to find a way to balance it all out. And as women, we have to be able to find that balance, or I think Yanni mentioned earlier, we'll lose ourselves we'll lose ourselves in just the moment of trying to satisfy the job, trying to satisfy the husband, trying to satisfy the kids, and then at the end of the day, we're so washed up, we're so tired that we don't even have 5 minutes for ourselves. And one of the things that I did several years ago when I was in grad school was I created this little thing called Take 5 for You. And what I did, because I was in IT and sometimes my days were 10 hours, what I did was I would take moments of just 5 minutes. And at 5 minutes, that's a lot when you're taking time in a quiet space. For you, I would go to the bathroom, sit inside of a stall and take 5 minutes, just close my eyes, whether it was praying, whether it was taking deep breathing exercises, whether it was telling me, you're awesome, you're beautiful, don't worry about what they said, they're crazy, you know, you're the one that's awesome, you're the one that's, I had to tell myself this because I was in a male-dominated environment and it was only a couple of black people in the department and it was like 20-something, you know, non-African Americans, so it was very difficult and oftentimes we as women will find ourselves in those difficult environments, those difficult situations, but how you handle it is the most important. How you get it at the end of the day when you walk out of that place, you still want to walk out with your dignity, you still want to walk out with your pride, and you still want to walk out of there knowing that I never lost who I was. I never lost who I was as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, or you know, whatever the position is, title you hold. And so again, the most important thing is never losing who you are and taking time for yourself.
Let's talk about money, okay? Because according to the latest figures, women are more educated than ever. 60% of us have college degrees, but we still are paid 23% less than men. That's on the corporate side. And I don't know about you and all the business owners that are here, one of the things that happens to us, a lot of times, everybody wants something for free, right? So I want to know, let's talk about how to combat that. Let's talk about how to make sure you're getting your money. Gina, I'm looking at you because you're a corporate recruiter. Yeah. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about that.
I will say that where people go wrong, people in general, women more often, is you don't negotiate. When you start a new job, if you don't come in strong on the negotiation table and understand your worth, do the research, see what the salaries bear for the role that you're trying to get, make sure, and sometimes like people take offers, and I watch this all day. People will take an offer, I'll take it. Well, sometimes the employer loses respect for you because the employer expects you to counter that offer. The employer expects you to counter that offer. So that means if you're getting an offer for, $100,000, right? You can go back and think, really that's not working for me. I really need about 110, and I need that 3 weeks of vacation instead of that 2 weeks of vacation, and I want my increase to be this. I mean, they've already established that they want you.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to go back to them because that's how we women end up learning less than men. Because men will go up there, I want this, and they feel completely justified in doing it. We need to feel that justification.
But I think particularly as women, we have this issue clapping back at people who are trying to walk out of the door and take advantage because you don't want to be that angry, unlikable woman. But then at the end of the day, do you think, is it more important for me to be known as angry and unlikable, or more known as that person you can always get over on, and I'm sitting around here broke? So I mean, a lot of what I've had to do in the negotiation process, and so much as getting my money, is I'm not chummy with my boss anymore. We used to be homegirls, we're not that far apart in age, but I sort of had to cut that out. So when I do go in there and talk about money, she knows that I'm being serious, completely dead serious about getting more. So I just think that you have to just keep on the game face, the stone face, and don't be so willing to let people get into that sweet little personal spot of yours.
You have to say your name. And what I mean by that is, if you're at work and you've done a good job at a project or something, you need to send a little backup email and say, thank you to everyone who helped me on my project that we're trying to do. And we are taught that you're not supposed to say your name because you're being too aggressive and you're too into yourself and blah, 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 yak, yak, yak. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not saying your name in that room, somebody's taking credit for your work. And you go and you're like, why are all the dumbest people getting promoted? That's because they're politicking behind your back. They're politicking I really brought it through. I brought the team together, and we all got together, and, you know, and thank you so much. And at the end of the day, the boss is hearing, you did everything. Okay, so say your name. Say it often. Send backup emails when you do something. And it's not nasty. It's just covering your behind. Securing your future. And when you leave that place, if you leave that place, you can put on your resume easily that I did A, B, C, and D, and no one can contest that. They are taking credit for your work.
Yes, they are.
They are. No, ain't no, not my manager cool. No, they are taking credit for your work.
Yes.
Because they have to constantly let the boss know why I'm here. I'm here because I'm doing all these wonderful things, right? So I have to take credit for Gina's work. I can't say Gina's, I'm not in the back room saying Gina's doing all this great work, because the boss is gonna be like, well maybe I need Gina and not you. They are taking credit for your work. They are stealing your ideas. They are. Ain't no gray area. They are. Say your name. Front, back, side to side, say your name.
And don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to walk away. I will tell you that right now. Because if somebody comes to you with a project and it's not enough money and you know what your worth is, sometimes maybe they're just not for you. Same thing with the job.
That people want things for free, and I know as business owners, we have a talent and skill, and we want to help the community, and we want to give back and all of that, and oftentimes people will take advantage of that because I've taught leadership classes and mentor girls and coaching and all of that. And so what I did, which was comfortable for me, was I started a nonprofit, Think Royally. And so what I do is give back through the nonprofit that I have. And if you choose a nonprofit, you give back and you decide, okay, this particular year, I'm going to volunteer maybe once a month with this nonprofit. And you set aside those times and you don't go outside of those times, and people can beg, they can cry, they can plead, but if you constantly being pulled in so many different directions and you're giving so much away, then your value is really getting lower and lower and lower, and then the other part is people won't respect you and who you are and your profession, and so you have to say, okay, for this year you project that once a month you will volunteer with this organization, or you pick several that you're going to work with and you stick to that. And when people ask you, you say, you know what, I'm sorry, this is what I've done. Maybe, next year or something else comes up, I'll consider you. And you have to be okay with that, because oftentimes people will come back and say, well, I thought you said you help the community, and I thought you said you give back. I do. I just didn't give to your organization this time. It doesn't mean that I don't give back. I just didn't give to yours. So we have to be okay with that and not constantly allow people to devalue us and our skills.
I will pay my friends. And I like to pay my friends because I feel that the people that I use, like, for example, my cousin is an amazing graphic designer, and he doesn't like to charge me. And I'm like, listen, I will be putting money in the pocket of somebody who I respect less, who I feel does worse work than you, so why can't I put money in your pocket? He feels bad. I'm like, don't feel bad, because I also want to be important. I also want to be the client that you want to work for because I'm paying you. And so I think that if everyone didn't always try to get a hookup, I hate a hookup. Everyone's like, can I just get a hookup? No. Well, no, because if you're use the person that you pay then. If you don't want to pay me to do my service.
Or there always is the beauty of the quid pro quo. So if you have something I need, and I have something you need, we can work something out. The barter is cool. But you don't have anything I need?
Right.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As women, don't be afraid to be aggressive. I'm usually the most aggressive woman in the circle that I'm with, because and it serves me well. You have to know yourself. I walk every job that I've ever had. I walk into the interview with the attitude that I'm not happier to have that job than they are to have me. I'm just as lucky to have that job as they are to have me. I quit a corporate job and without having another job. I never fear anything like that because I know my worth. If you're giving everybody else, all of these men, raises, and I'm doing all the work, like Zondra said, that they're in these meetings taking credit for, we put this plan together and everything. I spent those 40 hours not sleeping doing that work and I would walk away from that job without that fear because I know what my worth is. And a lot of times as women, we feel guilty, feeling valuable. We are. Human beings don't exist without women. So to not know your value, whether it's your friends, I'm a writer. So my friends ask me to write everything from their resumes to a recipe down, just anything that, they think, oh, Ray, can you write this for me? I make it a point to always have a rate sheet on me. Yes.
There you go.
This is what I charge hourly, and I'm really good at it now because I'm like, well, I don't have a job, so I definitely can't do anything for free. But at the end of the day, whether it's a corporate job, which, like Jetta said, I did walk away from that. You have to know your worth, and don't be afraid to be aggressive. Men do it, and in corporate America, the men loved me because I sat with them. I was the one that was like, I'm not having that. Where they went to a point where they said, well, you guys need to work 60 hours a week because it's an accounting firm and it's busy. And I was probably the only woman, and you'd have seen the look on these women's faces when I stood up and said, absolutely not, that is not in my contract. When you all signed my contract, you told me we were going to work 38. Everything else after that is volunteer, and I'm salaried. I'm not working 60 hours a week. The women, the gasping, but I know my value and I know what I'm worth and I know what you're paying me. You're paying me for 40 hours. You want me to work 60? You need to reevaluate
You
my
better pay her.
contract.
Go ahead, pay.
More money.
You better pay her.
So know your worth and don't be afraid to be aggressive, even if it gets you that label, the bitch. That's their definition of you, not your definition of yourself.
How do young women position themselves as leaders as they're coming up? What's the advice, ladies?
Know your worth. Bottom line, know your worth. You own the room when you walk in the room, and you need to know that. If you don't know your worth, if you don't take yourself seriously, no one else is going to take you seriously. You have to be fierce. No fear, no shame in your game. This is what I want. Demand it. You'll have some people that'll say yes, and you'll have some people that'll say no. But you have to know where your middle ground is for you and where your compromise point is for you. If there's no compromising, then there isn't for you. If there is, you know what that is going into the room so that you don't devalue or, misappropriate yourself and what it is that you want out of it.
The rebuttal that I'll have, I have to rebut you a little bit. Know what you don't know. And know when you don't know something. Because nothing annoys me, quite frankly, more than a young person that comes in like, I know everything. I'm taking the world by the storm. It's like, you need to sit down somewhere and learn from people who know what they're doing. Like, humble yourself enough to learn because you don't know your craft yet. You can't yet own a room when you don't know what you're doing. You just can't do it. So what you're doing is building your career by learning from people who know what they're doing. And the best advice I can probably give is choose someone who is in a position where you want to be. And let them, you don't have to ask them to mentor you, but you can watch them, watch what they do, emulate them, and, try to learn what they know. And you don't have to do it in an intimidating way, but if you don't pick someone who is someone that you could see yourself being in X number of years, then your career won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You need a role model.
Invest in yourself. You can go online and get a Harvard education on online courses for free. They have all these different courses that you can take. It's called Coursera, Coursera.
That's right, Coursera now. They have it's Harvard, Brown.
Invest in
Yeah,
yourself.
it's fabulous.
Invest in yourself. Constantly recreate yourself. This isn't just for up and coming young ladies. This is also for ladies who are transitioning out of one thing and now you decide, I want to do something else. Be a butterfly. Butterflies are good. Be a butterfly. Try something new. Try a new color. But always, always put it back into yourself, your brand, your knowledge, stuff that no one can ever take away from you.
I asked somebody if they'd be willing to mentor me, like a really high-powered producer whom I have a lot of respect for, and she straight said no. And not to make her sound terrible, she said she was going through some things and she just couldn't take on anymore, and I can respect that. But what I would say is, first, she's not the only producer, she's not the only, there are other people out here to whom you can aspire to be like, who will be more than willing to take you on. So I just keep looking and stay out there. The other thing I would say too, which is probably the biggest mistake I made, I came out here with no plan. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to take on the world. I didn't really have a plan, except for, plan A. And then when that didn't quite happen, there was no plan B or C. I didn't really anticipate her saying no. I anticipate several people saying no, but the no came. And I think that, you know, the time that I spent bumbling around recovering is time that I wasted because I didn't have the backup, and then the backup to the backup, and those first couple of things didn't work out. So I would always say to anyone, you know, whether you're starting out or just sort of like in mid-season of the game, have 1, 2, and 3 plans.
Get out of your own network, build on somebody else's network. I mean, your talent will speak for itself. Your talent will open 1,000 doors. So the hell with that. You know, go somewhere else. Keep asking. Keep asking.
Thank you so incredibly much. 6th round chick, let's give it up. All right. And give it up for yourselves. Thanks for hanging out with us.